everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories and Business. And I have one of my favorite people here. This lady has written in our Women Like Me books, and she's got so much depth and there's so many interesting things about her. I just can't wait to dive into this conversation with her. So today we are going to talk to the lovely Rhonda Dalvin Gilbert. Now, she is in Kingston, Ontario, so she's in Canada, and she's an author. She's a small business owner, and she's a spiritual Sherpa, if I pronounce
Sherpa.
Sherpa. So, Rhonda, welcome, and thank you for being willing to do this.
Oh, thank you for having me, Julie.
So, can you tell us all just, I know I had to double check with you. So, if I don't know, there's others that don't know. What's a Sherpa or
Yeah,
Shepa?
absolutely. Yeah, Sherpa. It's not a
Sherpa.
commonly used word, but anyone who's gone mountain climbing often knows what it is. And what a Sherpa is it's someone you hire to help guide you through difficult passages. And normally, a Sherpa is someone who takes you somewhere on earth through difficult passages and knows the lay of the land and knows how to help guide you through those difficult spots. So I'm a spiritual Sherpa, and I have a lot of metaphysical tools at my fingertips, as you well know. And to bundle them all together, I call myself a spiritual Sherpa because I hope that I have the honor of being at someone's beck and call for difficult moments in their lives to help them and guide them and provide light for them in the dark
Yeah.
times.
Oh, I love that. Okay, thank you for explaining that. I've got it now. I won't forget. So, before we started recording, you were telling me a little bit about life in September for you. Can you
Yes.
can you just touch on that a little bit about our audience because I think what was going on in your life in September is going to bridge us into the conversation that we're going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. September hit me hard. The universe, was making me pivot and change and whatnot. And so the first week of September, I closed down my brick and mortar shop and I pivoted to only being online now. And then the second week of September, a cousin of mine died very suddenly. And then the third week of September, a dear uncle of mine passed away. And then the fourth week of September, I woke up and found one of my cats, Myrtle, dead.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Now that is a tough month.
very tough, very
Yeah.
tough.
Wow. From just all of it, all of it. So how do you deal with that kind of grief? Because even
Yeah,
though, because I mean, your business technically sort of died, right?
yeah,
That part of
yeah,
it, and
exactly.
family members and your beloved pet. Like, how does somebody deal with that much grief and trauma in such a short period of time?
Yeah, like every weekend there was a funeral to go to, it felt like. And,
Mm.
like I went into September, I knew I was going to be shutting my shop down. So I went in already like, I got this universe. I know how to do grief, because I do grief counseling. So I'm going to give myself that sacred pause, as I call it, to reflect and all this. I'm all prepared for grieving. What I wasn't prepared for was the other three that were going to come
Right.
hard at me. And of course, like as much as I love my family, it's so hard losing a pet. It is so, so hard. And so I was like, okay, universe, we gotta, I understand I gotta take a pause, but this is a hell of a pause. And
Yeah.
but I knew I needed to slow down, that I needed to honor the grief for what it is. And really grieving, well, actually all therapy, as I was saying, all therapy is grief therapy because therapy requires change and transformation and being better, quote unquote. And that requires you to accept the change. And accept change means you have to accept releasing things, whether it's perceptions about yourself, whether it's timelines you had in mind for your life, whether it's heartbreak, because when you have a broken heart, it means you've lost someone you love, right? And all of that requires change, and all of that all rolled into a nice, neat little ball is grief therapy.
Ah. Yeah, as you're talking, I'm thinking because I've gone through some grief this month actually, and I haven't. No one has passed away, but people have. But it's been letting go.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I found that the longer I held on and didn't say, "This is not my," this is. I finally had to say, "This is not for me to bear." Like
right.
I need to release this. Uh, I, I have to release this because mentally I was going crazy and my heart
Yeah,
hurt and my heart hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
I think you're so right. It is so much um a release. But I mean, no one died in my life, luckily, but that would be even harder to have to say, I have to release this.
mm-hmm. And yeah, we're all human and we're all guilty at some point or another of hanging on to something much longer than we should. And sometimes grief is letting go of the anger we have against someone who's done something wrong to us, or letting go of the
Mm.
pain that we've suffered in life because of circumstances, because of people, whatever it might be. But we have to give ourselves, like I said, that sacred pause to allow the anger, the grief, the bitterness, the whatever it might be to simmer, and then we need to let it go.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because I guess we can't continue to have things boil up inside of us.
No, because then you just end up with a dirty stove and no soup.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So how do you help people through their grieving process? What are some of the things that you're able to do to help people?
Well, the way I often help, well, first of all, it depends on the kind of grief, right? There's different kinds of grief, like I've mentioned before, that sometimes it's, the loss of a job. It could be the loss of a partner. And I don't mean through death always. It could be divorce or just a
Yeah.
breakup or
Yeah.
whatever. But the way I often help people is to give them the permission to slow down and to reflect and let's talk about this. I try to give them that sacred space to express themselves, and any way, shape, or form they want. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to want to kill someone. It's okay to, you know uh, be sad. It's okay to, it's not weak to cry, for instance. So many people are like, oh,
Mm.
I hate crying, oh, I don't like it, it's a sign of weakness. It's like, no, actually, it takes a lot of courage to cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage to really look at the pain that you are going through. And I try to hold people's souls and give them the space to express those things so that then they can work through them. Because the problem is, a lot of people think they've got to get over it. You're never going to get over it.
Mm.
You can work through it, absolutely. And forgiveness is a big step to take, especially in anything that where you feel you've been wronged in some way. And sometimes it's God himself you got to forgive.
Sometimes, sometimes you're right. Yeah. So so you have quite a spiritual background.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a master tarot reader. I'm a ninth degree Reiki master, grand master actually.
Wow.
I do angel therapy. I'm a big believer in angels because people think they're a religious thing, and no, they cut across all belief systems right from the beginning of time. I Yeah, I have so many I can't even remember half of the things I do.
And so how does your spiritual background then help people when they come to you?
Well, I mean, I was raised Roman Catholic, so and I obviously have since moved away a little bit from that. But the even my upbringing in a strict Roman Catholic household did teach me the power of, first of all, prayer and the power of ritual and how to bring things into the sacred. Everything we do we should be striving to make it sacred because we're sacred ourselves. We're divine. And a lot of mystics and saints have talked about what's called the never ending prayer. And what that is a constant coming back to center and honoring everything we do, whether it's right from brushing our teeth to doing our dishes to getting along with others, to get along with our coworkers. All of these things should be sacred. That's the goal of every human being walking this planet. As I'm sure you've heard many times, we're sacred beings having a human experience.
Yes, yes. And I
And
believe that.
yeah, and that's our goal is to create sacredness while we're here, learning to come back to center. Because in center is where sacredness is. That's where peace is. That's where love is. That's where forgiveness is. To understand all is to forgive all.
Mhm. Mhm. Love that. So
Yeah.
do you use so what kind of tools do you use for helping when you're helping people?
Well, I mean, I guess I use a lot of talk therapy. Again, I get them to talk out their feelings, but I use other things like I use mirror magic, for instance, and
Oh,
talking to yourself in the mirror, reaching into your inner child. And I
yes.
always warn people it's going to feel a little weird the first time you talk into a mirror, and you can make sure no one's home if you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
My
yeah,
husband just walks by me now and goes, "Oh yeah, she's just doing her mirror
yeah.
magic."
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that there's a lot of people that are in grief. Just but I think it's misdescribed maybe as anger or
Oh yeah.
fear or so many other things. I
Hmm.
remember years ago when I was in my 30s and I was starting to sort of wake up to reality and life. I remember grieving that I didn't have a better past.
Yes. And that seems to be something a lot of women struggle with in particular, is if I'd only known, if I'd done this, if I'd done that. And it's like you can't undo the past. That's the one thing, right? You can't know the future for sure, but you can't undo the past. And you have to forgive yourself for the decisions that you've made and trust in whatever spiritual higher being you believe in, that you are where you're supposed to be right now.
Yes.
And the lessons from all those past bad decisions, as well as the good.
Yes. Yes. No, when I look back on my life where I am today, 100% everything that happened made me and helped me to where I am. Good things and the
Absolutely.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes when we're in that bad state, we don't really get it.
No, no, absolutely not. We'll own the good stuff. All the good
Yes.
stuff we did. Yeah, that was all me. But the
Yeah.
bad stuff,
No.
it's like, what are you talking about? I would never.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a tough thing for a lot of people to deal with for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, ownership. It's called owning your shit, as I say.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's a very powerful moment. And I love it when I see the light bulb go on and I know, yeah, they're ready to own everything in their lives, good, bad, or ugly kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's so powerful. It brings me weeping and brings me to my knees every
Oh,
time
wow.
that I'm just like, oh my God, you're in such a great spot right
Yeah.
now.
What do you think about forgiveness? So I had a writer a couple of books back, went through a very traumatic experience. And the title of her chapter was Forgiveness is a Word I Don't Understand.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what do you think about forgiveness?
Well, you and I, as you said earlier, have talked in the past,
Yes.
and I have like I was raped when I was 16, and I've had a lot to forgive to move through that. And for me, when I'm coaching someone or when I'm helping someone through grief, I often find I have to gauge where they're at, right? Because sometimes the wound is so fresh, they're not ready to forgive, but I still plant the seed because I still have faith in this other human soul that once they reach that stage where they're able to forgive, and I preach this to a lot of people, that it's the most freeing moment you'll have. It's true freedom. You don't think it is at the time because you think you're justified in holding on to your anger, to your regret, to whatever it might be. But actually, when you truly forgive, then it's a beautiful moment. And even the angels will weep for you and cry tears of
Oh,
joy for you.
that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, the world gets more colorful because it's like colors come back into your life again.
So what do you think forgiveness is then? So I mean, even in your situation, you went through that very traumatic experience that affected your life for many, many, many years. And so were you able to forgive? Like how is like I like in my mind, forgiveness is I'm confused. You tell me what you think forgiveness.
Okay.
You tell me what forgiveness is. I need a lesson in forgiveness.
So a lot of people, yeah, it's okay. A lot of people confuse forgiveness with condoning. And forgiveness is
Mm,
not condoning because a lot of times we'll be tempted to say something, oh, it's okay. And I often tell
mm,
people, stop saying it's okay because it's not okay, but you can still forgive and you're not okay with what they did, right? So there's two different
right.
things. And so my the guy that raped me, it took me a long time to come to this place. So, it's okay if you don't get it in a day.
Yeah.
I understand. um, but if someone came to me now and or if well actually if I died now and God came to me and said, do you want us to punish him rightly so for what he did? I can honestly say no. I have forgiven him completely. Help guide and correct him in any way that his soul needs to elevate
Mhm.
itself. Because when he elevates, so do I. And when I elevate, so does he. So right now, and I always jokingly say, I don't want to have tea with the guy or
No, of
anything like
course
that.
not.
but but I
Mhm.
want him to find his way. I don't know if he's dead or alive right now, but I hope if he's alive that angels are helping him find his way. And
Mhm.
the reason I can say that is I was inspired by a story of two Jewish twins who got found in Nazi Germany. And in Nazi Germany, they very much liked to do experiments, especially with
Yes.
twins, right?
Yes, yes.
And so at the end of it, the one twin that was being experimented on was thrown into one of these warehouses in the concentration camps. And they figured she's just going to die, right? And she
Mhm.
just, for whatever reason, said if she saw a tap dripping, and she thought if she could make it to the tap, she would live. And the minute a drop fell on her lips, she said that's when the allies came in and were getting everyone free from the camps. So at the
Wow.
war tribunal trials, they allowed a one. Well, they were trying one of the doctors that experimented on her, and they allowed her to come and say what horrible things he did and blah blah blah. So her sister went and said, did all these horrible things, blah blah blah. She was the base one, so she wasn't experimented on. But
Yes.
the one who was experimented on, she wrote a letter of forgiveness to the doctor. And I'm
Wow.
like, oh my God, well, if she can forgive that, surely to God, I can forgive what
Wow.
had been done to me. And that's always a true
Mm,
inspiration for me.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like I get why she was telling her story of why she did it, and I get it now. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think that forgiveness is more for our hearts because we stop carrying around that anger, that resentment, that oh he did this to me and oh that person and it's just not like you say it's not condoning what they did, but
No.
it's just releasing that
Yeah.
those that negativity because really at the end of the day I really at the end of the day he doesn't know. She doesn't know. Nobody's over there thinking, oh, poor Julie. Oh, I shouldn't have said that to her. They're off having a great life. I'm the one who's internalizing that garbage. So really it's
Absolutely.
for me to get rid of.
Yeah, it's a freeing, selfish act. And I don't
Hmm.
mean selfish as in selfish. I mean
No.
you do it for your own self-care
Yes.
because people don't understand because you want to hang on to that anger. Trust me, I
Yeah.
wanted to hang on to that anger. I felt, yeah, I should be angry at this person for the rest of my life. But it's like, well, he's not thinking about me, so why am I letting him rent free space in my head?
Yes. And I think the anger is a form maybe of because when you go through that, I haven't personally been raped, but I can imagine if you go through that as a very powerless experience, you have no power in that. And then with other situations and that by being angry and however else you feel, that there is a sense of power to that.
Yes, anger can feel very powerful in the moment, but it's ultimately very weak. The
Yes.
strongest force in the universe is
Mhm.
love,
Yeah.
and love brings hope, peace, and forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anger shatters at the smallest thing.
Hmm. I guess too, I guess Rhonda, it's like, what do you want in your life? Regardless of who's done what to you or where you've been or where you came from or how many times you've been kicked when you're down, you have to decide, well, what do I ultimately want for my life?
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody wants to be loved.
Yeah.
Everyone wants peace. Everybody wants to have hope for the next day or the next
Hmm.
month or whatever. And that is where love is. And forgiveness brings you to love.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a young lady who's just she wrote in one of my books and now I just helped her with her full life story and it's going to be coming out this week. And she was hit by a drunk driver in her early 20s. She's 29 now, I think, or she might be 30, but she's paraplegic. And she had just had a son with luckily he wasn't in the car, but he was I think 2 or 3 months old. And during the trial, she said that she read her victim impact statement, which had said nothing to do with forgiveness. And then they left for lunch to come back for, I guess, when the judge was going to sentence her. And she broke down in tears with the prosecutor, and she said, "I have one more thing I need to say." And they opened up the court for her to so that she could say it before the lady was sentenced. And she said, I just get teary-eyed. She said, "I forgive you.
Oh, wow.
I want you to know that I forgive you. Your children deserve," she had two children. "Your children deserve to have a mother like my child deserves me." Oh, just got teary. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
But
That's amazing.
that's the ultimate, the
Yeah. Yeah.
ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And just, of course, not forgiving what happened. She's in a wheelchair for the rest of her life, but forgiving her. That makes
Hmm.
sense, right? Yeah. It
Yeah.
was just I just thought it was like how unbelievably powerful that was for her to be able to
Absolutely.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just hit her
Amazing.
after she did. She said, it just hit me. I just started crying, and I just went to the prosecutor and said, I have one more thing I really need to say. Can you please make sure that I have an opportunity to say it? So,
That's amazing. Well, she's probably able to release her anger through her victim impact statement, right?
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so, and it's so good because, here she is now. She's written her full story. She's, telling it to others so that others can learn from what she's dealt with. And I think she's going to be okay,
That's amazing.
you know?
That's so lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what the other thing I wanted to ask you about is what are your feelings on gratitude?
Well, I feel it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, but do you find that the people that come to you when they're in grief, they've lost that sense of gratitude? And do they get that back?
Yeah, very much so. They can lose sight of the gratitude because you're focused on the misery and the hurt and the pain and all that kind of stuff, right? So gratitude, I often call it a forced shift. And what that means is gratitude brings you again to forgiveness, that brings you to love, that brings you to they're all connected. So if you can hit one, you can't help but get the others into your life. And really gratitude, I feel, works most effectively. Yes, you can look around going, oh, yeah, I'm glad for my house, my car, my dog, my
Yeah. Yeah.
house, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But you have to put the why behind it. So
Mm.
when I tell people, because when I tell people, have you ever done a gratitude journal? And people just roll their eyes and go, yeah, yeah, whatever. I'm very thankful. And I'm like, no, no, pick one thing a day that you are truly grateful for, whether it's the ham sandwich you had at lunch because it was just perfectly made, and answer why you love that ham sandwich so much. That is where you put yourself into true gratitude, which then links to all the other things. But just
Mhm.
going, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
you know,
exactly. I agree. I think that gratitude is one of the most powerful tools that we can use to change our lives.
yeah, I often, like I was saying, I often get people to start gratitude journals, but don't do a laundry list of 10 things. Pick one thing,
Right. Yes.
one moment, whatever is in that day that you're most grateful for. I often recommend doing it right before bed so that you're in a state of gratitude when you go to sleep, when your subconscious turns on and wants to tell you stories through pictures, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
if your conscious and subconscious are together, then things start to happen. So
Yes.
if your conscious mind is in gratitude mode, and then
Yes.
your subconscious, which is always in gratitude mode, they
Yes.
line up,
Yeah.
things align, and then
Yes.
stuff's happening.
Yeah. Let me ask you again, because I'm getting all my questions out. This is good. Okay. So what do you think of dreams?
Dreams, well, dreams are very powerful. And, I also recommend a dream journal. But I do tell people here's a couple of tricks about dreams. Okay. So dreams come from your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is actually your fastest mind in your head, and it doesn't filter anything. So it will tell you everything about your day, but it does it in pictures, sort of a thousand words is, or a picture's worth a thousand words, right?
Yeah.
So it can't sit and talk to you about everything that you saw that day or experienced that day.
Yeah.
You would have to sleep for a week.
Yes. Yes.
But what I love about dreams is there's always a meaning behind everything. Now, so many people will come to me and go, I dreamt about this, and there was a purple elephant and there was a plastic snake, and what do you think that means? Right.
Yeah.
I and the thing I always tell them is what were the five dreams before it and what were the five dreams after it? Because what you're telling me is a paragraph of your story. And put about 10 days
Um,
together and you've got a whole chapter, and now you're starting to get the gist of the story. Because one thing your subconscious mind does very on purpose, is it talks to us in patterns. Because as humans, that's what we recognize. We recognize patterns. The facial pattern is usually the first pattern we recognize, right?
Right.
So we speak right from the day we're born in patterns. We understand patterns. That's why we love stories, because there's a pattern to a story, and we learn best through stories. So get your dream journal out and do about 10 dreams, and you'd be amazed at
Ah.
the patterns that start to be seen. And
Oh, that makes sense. Why, you have one dream and try to sit down and try to analyze that. But you need to keep track of what those other dreams are. Oh,
yes,
I used to
yeah.
keep a dream journal years ago, but I think I'm going to grab another one and get started.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
when I have a very vivid dream, I'm like, okay, I better start journaling because my brain is trying to tell me something, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I think that, we should listen to our intuition more often because it's so helpful, whether that's our dreams or our gut feeling or, whatever that might be. I think our intuition, it's rare that it steers us the wrong way.
Oh, absolutely. But we're taught to not listen to it, not, oh, that's just silly or, things like that, right? And they've
Yes.
actually proven scientifically that there's gray matter in our stomach that's connected through the vagus nerve to our brain. So that's why, you get a little upset somehow when, you're in a scary situation or, I'm not too sure about this person, or when you're in love, you get the butterflies in the stomach, that sort of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, our intuition definitely is there. It's a real thing that tells us stuff. We are just not smart enough to listen all the time.
That is so true. Wow. Well, Rhonda, I could go on and on. I've got a zillion questions that I could ask you. We're going to have to start doing this once a month. It's Julie asking Rhonda question show
Yeah,
again.
absolutely. I would
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. So you're going to send me links. And so for what everybody should know is that if you would like to reach out to Rhonda, tell us a little bit about what you do other than the grief therapy. You do other things.
Yeah, I do other things. I do something that's called a bloom session, which is basically life coaching and helping you pick, where you need to go, what directions are best. I also do tarot. Like I said earlier, I'm a master tarot reader, and tarot's been used in psychology because what I say about tarot is I'm not here to predict the future. I'm not, you know, that sort of tarot reader. What I am is a tarot reader that will help you start difficult conversations. And often the most difficult ones are the ones you have to have with yourself first. And then maybe other people in your life, who knows? We'll figure
Yeah.
that out as we go, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that I do those kind of things. So yeah, and I do some astrology as well. So
Oh,
um
interesting. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to Rhonda, all of her information will be in the show notes as usual. We'll have links there on how you can reach her. And if you're not sure if you've got dealing with something that she may or may not be able to help you with, well, reach out to her and just ask her, and she'll let you know. And if she can't, then maybe she's able to direct you in a direction that can help you. But more than likely, she's going to be able to help you. So, Rhonda, thank you so much again. In closing, what would you like to say to our audience?
Well, I often would like to say to many clients as they're leaving is please know that you are loved, that you are very precious, and please don't ever lose hope. Because once you lose hope, that's the end, right?
Yeah. No, so true. So absolutely true. And and I know a few people that have committed suicide in my life, and I often think about that. And I think about how my own life, how something would happen, but then we turn a corner and something good is there. And I think about
Mhm.
those poor people, they didn't get to turn that corner, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
It
And
was, Yeah.
Yeah. And being able to create spaces for our friends, for our family, sometimes we have to be non-judgmental and just give them space
Yes.
to express
Yeah.
whatever they need, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, Rhonda, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed the conversation. I have learned a few things, and I hope that you have as well out there. So thank you for watching this episode, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.